Hey folks, Brian King, the Mindset King here with my good friend Jane, who I can't talk with enough. Her and I are kindred spirits, simpatico, on the same page most of the time, and all that great stuff. And the reason she and I are talking is because while doing my morning routine this morning, I was kind of in the zone. I was being extra efficient, knocking stuff out, and the inexcusable thought entered my mind. And the thought was, maybe I can skip my meditation today and just jump right into my work. And then I caught myself and said, wait a minute, why am I in such a hurry? What's the rush? And there's a reason I have meditation as part of my morning routine. So I'm going to do it. And when I did my meditation, it did exactly what it normally does. It pulls my brain back into the moment. It helps me calm my mind, get centered, get focused, get more patient, and a lot of other stuff that really comes in handy throughout the day. Then I started thinking, you know what? Hey, let's have a conversation with somebody about the importance of meditation in the morning. And then I put it out there on Facebook, and lo and behold, I got all these different answers back, including Jane's, which was about, well, I don't meditate. It doesn't work for me. I journal. Then it occurred to me, wait a minute. Is the importance here to have meditation as a morning practice? Or is it more important to have some kind of practice that encourages reflection? And I thought that was a more important topic. And since Jane and her proactive self stepped right in and talked about her journaling and the way she described how she uses it, I knew that we had to talk about this. So here she is. Welcome, Jane.
Hi, thank you. It's lovely to be here. Happy Friday. And
hallelujah.
It's always a pleasure to have conversations with you because it's refreshing and real. So it's always an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. And
likewise. Yeah, likewise, my friend.
It's about I agree with you. I think it's more about the morning routine. Some might say that journaling is meditation, but it's putting pen to paper. So I agree that a morning routine is very important, and I adopted about 6 months ago. And it's really important that everybody who is thinking about it to just take one step. That's the biggest thing, is just to start something different than you're doing, yesterday or the last week that isn't serving you well. And it does disrupt things. It is a difficult change because it's a new habit, a new form of thinking and habit, but I've had great benefits from it, more clarity than anything.
Well, and one of the main reasons, Steve, to have something like this is people by and large are running around an automatic pilot. They have their habits. They're doing their 9 to 5 or getting the kids to school, getting back, cleaning the house, whatever it is. And it just seems to be that they're being led by this habit instead of making that conscious decision to create their life from that place of awareness and taking conscious, deliberate action. And I really don't see too many people doing that. The people that you and I surround ourselves with, they're all about that kind of stuff. But yes, the majority of folks out there that are struggling and suffering and feel like everything is uphill, like they're not making any progress, when you look at their lives, it tends to be that they're living a life that is dictated by others. It's what their boss told them to do. It's what their spouse who's in charge of their relationship tells them what to do. And all these other people who have an agenda that this person happens to fit into.
Right.
Here, you're a cog in my wheel of my greater vision. Here, you go over there and you do this. And there's a point in your life, or in a lot of people's lives, where they say, I can't live like this anymore. I want to start creating my life. And one of the first things you need to do is make a habit of reflecting upon how you're doing. How's life going? Are these the results I want? How do I feel right now? And meditation is a wonderful way to just be present while your mind bubbles up all these things. Because thoughts are just little blips of energy until we assign meaning to them.
Right.
This is negative, this is positive, and, this is something to worry about. I want to take this thing I just assigned meaning to and create this whole story around it that's going to make me miserable. And being able to see how my mind behaves and being able to consciously choose not to engage. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is good. I love spontaneity. Somebody just said they're available that I would like to have in on this conversation.
Sure. I'm game. Do we all fit?
Oh yeah, we're all gonna fit. So I'm gonna go invite him in. So let's see. And he's gonna be mobile. He's on his way to the airport because he's one of those never say die, go, go, go type of guys. But I definitely think his morning routine is going to add some perspective to this. Okay, so what was I saying before I tangented?
You were talking about meditation and how it offers clarity and all the
Yeah.
stuff that gets in your head. And it pretty much centers you to start your day out. It's energy.
I found it for a variety of reasons. I had cancer when I was 18. I discovered meditation then and how it helped me calm my anger and my anxiety and everything that was going on around that, and got more in touch with my thoughts and my emotional reactions, and helped me start reeling that in as I learned that I could decide not to participate, to not react. And that is one of the coolest things that I've gotten from a meditation practice. Looks like we lost Jane a little bit, but she's coming back in. There you go.
I'm here.
Is learning to not react. Whether I choose to engage or not was completely up to me. And my daily meditation practice really helps me refine that practice and keep it ever present, very much in the forefront, not an afterthought. And I've been doing that for about 20 some years now. And I think that it is been absolutely instrumental in the person I've become, my mindset, the kind of work I'm doing today. But that's what it's done for me. And I'll be honest, there was a time where, here he comes, Andy Storch. Jane, do you know Andy?
I may.
Okay, Jane Stewart, Andy Storch.
I don't think
you're both amazing.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Well,
Hello.
what we're talking about here, Andy, and I started the conversation, it's very free flowing, and we're recording this for posterity to better humanity. That's how we roll.
Okay,
And,
good.
and I was talking about the importance of having some kind of a morning routine that includes the opportunity to reflect, where you're asking yourself, hey, am I going where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
Is where I'm putting my time and energy worth my time and energy? And I just talked about how my morning routine is, a big part of it is meditation, and how that reflective time helps me determine, hey, is this the path I want to go? Jane journals, you work out.
Not necessarily.
Now wait a minute. I've lived in envy of your curl ups and your biceps for quite some time now, and I know that you're big on working out every day, right?
That's right.
Now,
but not necessarily in the morning.
Oh, okay, but you do work out every day. Okay, so
yes,
and you are absolutely.
Well, I haven't today.
Well, you're going to the airport, and you're traveling, and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. I know darn well that you are somebody that reflects and assesses and.
Oh yeah.
And so on. So where do you find that in your day?
So for me, the morning routine is everything. I'm all about that. Since I discovered The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, 3 years ago last month. I've been practicing almost every morning since then, even while I'm traveling, which I do a lot. So I start every day with meditation, 100%.
Okay, so you meditate as well.
7 days a week. I'm on a streak right now of 670 days in a row. So 100% always
you
meditate
keep a
every morning.
spreadsheet of your meditation practice?
No, I use an app and it just tracks it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Is it like Headspace or something?
It's Calm. It's a competitor to Headspace.
Okay, yeah, I see ads for them all the time.
I love Calm. I've been using I've had the premium membership for 3 years. It's
ironically, I feel anxious whenever I see the ad for that because it makes me feel like I'm missing out. So I don't know, maybe that.
Well, they're doing a good job. That's marketing. That's
maybe that's
marketing.
intention. Oh yeah, marketing say you're tense now, but if you invest in Calm.
Right, and you who knows so much about this stuff, you know that you can go meditate without any, like people have been doing it for thousands of years without the assistance of an app, but you still feel like you're missing out. You're like, man, I really need to get
Oh
that.
yeah,
So
well this
they're doing a good job.
this digital age, man, they've really leveraged that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I start every morning with that, and then I do some reading, and I do some journaling as well, like Jane. And I find that that is the time when I'll come up with a lot of ideas and I'll be writing things down. But my journal is when I plan the day and also think about, I also do affirmations every morning and remind myself of the goals that I have set. And I can reflect on, like, am I making progress towards those? Or have I not been making progress towards those? And do I need to make some changes? And then write down some things in the journal, like here's what I need to do this week, or today or this week, whatever that I want to try to get done. And so I find that, and I also take out the journal every night when I go to bed, right? Okay, what did I get done today? What did I not get done today? What do I want to try to get done tomorrow? And all those activities, I think somewhere in there, there's reflection, certainly in meditation as well, Brian. I think just having that quiet time in the morning. And then sometimes I go to the gym in the morning, but more often than not, it's like the middle of the day or the afternoon. It's kind of all over the place. But I find, that could be a good time to reflect too. It's working out and you've got some quiet time.
So you have this bucket O stuff that you indulge in all the time. Journaling is part of it. Meditation's part of it. Exercise is part of it. So Jane, we better get our act together because Andy's got all this stuff going. I feel like such a slacker right now.
Well, you take what you need and you build a consistent habit. And you might spend more time doing one or the other things. Like I meditate 10 minutes a day. Maybe you meditate longer. Mm-hmm. I like doing all of those things. I find benefits in all of them.
See, what I do here, and I got to give myself credit for having the wisdom to realize this, especially in light of everything you've shared and my need to feel like I measure up to you, is I just cut out the exercise and the journaling and pile it on top of meditation. So I get all that meditation time in, and it gives me permission and rationalization for not doing all those other things.
Right. That's whatever works for you. And by the way, I find that I come up with some of my best ideas while I'm meditating and trying to unsuccessfully clear my mind. So I'll write those down. Something you said to me a long time back, Brian, that I still remember and try to use when I'm meditating to clear my mind is you said to think about leaves flowing down a river, mm-hmm. and kind of treat the ideas as those leaves flowing down. And I always remember that. And when I'm getting lost in thought, I remember that river. Leaves going down. I try to.
I'll give you another one too. And I was challenged with this morning. When the thoughts bubble up during meditation that you want to grab because it's such an awesome idea, don't. Because the whole point of meditation is to be able to let go of that.
Right.
Okay. So this is what I do instead. When the thought comes up that I think is worth $1 million, I say to myself, "Oh, I'll remember that for later."
Okay.
And I give that intention there, and I spend the moment on what the thought is to kind of secure it in, so it's less floaty. So when I say, I'll remember that later, well, the thing I want to remember is specifically this, then I let it go. And what I have found is at some point later in the day, if it's something that's aligned to what it is we're doing, it'll be pulled back in because it's still there.
Nice, because you set the intention.
Yeah. So give it a shot and see what happens.
Okay.
It works.
Right. Now, it works? You do that too?
So Jane does it too.
I do it a little different in that because I'm a photographer and artistic. I don't know where I learned this. It's not something that when I wake very early in the morning at around 5, I have incredible clarity before everything, even before my feet hit the ground. So I learned to basically close my eyes when I have that idea. I take a picture of it, the idea. It's because I'm very visual.
That is very cool.
And actually, it's not something that I invented. It's something I heard of about 20 years ago. And I have practiced that because those are some of the best ideas because my brain is going all the time. And when I take that snapshot, it's gone away. And I actually can recall a lot of details if it's in a photograph. It's a very, I don't know, you got to do what works best for you, but that really serves me well, very well.
I love that idea. And I got to tell you, that's counterintuitive to me because I am so auditory. I've got lousy vision and I'm colorblind, so I don't gravitate towards visual because I miss so much of it. I'm very tuned into my ears. So
Right.
having this conversation with you just is really, it really demonstrates the importance of getting other viewpoints, because it never occurred to me to do that. So man, next time something pops into my head that I want to hang on to, I'm gonna say, excuse me a second, I got to do a mental selfie and just close my eyes, maybe see myself with my arm around the idea. and I take a little mental selfie and imagine I'm putting it on my mental Instagram and see if I'm able to find it later. Love it, Jane.
Yeah, it works for me.
I like that. Yeah.
As far as the journaling goes, do you have, you said the miracle morning, and I imagine there's some kind of a formula to that.
Well, the miracle morning, yeah, the formula, you know, how Elrod created that, he calls it the savers. So it's silence or meditation, affirmations. The part that I have fallen off on that is related to what you're talking about is visualization. It's also important too. So visualizing your day or your future. And then exercise, reading, and scribing or writing. So I try to do all of those things on a daily basis that he created, yeah.
Okay. So Jane, I know that you seem to have some kind of structure to your journaling.
I do. And I think really what's most important here is that we can read it, we can talk, you just have to start pen to paper with journaling. And then you need to work out what flows best for you. But I do gratitude. I work in threes because I have to be very simple in my approach so that it's actionable, it's long-term, in the end, it builds to something bigger. And that's just my system. Threes, very small. I do 3 small gratitudes of the people that are important to me, what's happened. Yeah. I reflect on where I was, because that's taking pause of, you know, giving myself credit and being brave and whatnot. And I also do big picture writing. So that could be, now again, like I said to you, Brian, big picture does not mean necessarily a year. This could be a week, a month, a day. It's all defined within it's very important not to bite off more than you can chew, because you can simply say, forget it. And this is where it's 10 minutes for me in the morning, because anything outside of that is very tiring to me. So then it's not serving me, but other people could do more. It has to be how your energy is served, how it best serves you. And I also said to you, a really important thing is a lot of people, when I have conversations, say, well, I have to get a journal. And that's an excuse maker, but I just stick to—
They're available everywhere.
Yeah, dollar store, you know, I know this is funny, but it's not about it's lovely to have a beautiful bound journal, but that is something where you can work towards. Get pen and paper. It's very inexpensive. Just do versus thinking, and it starts to unfold. Now, another thing you talked about just briefly, which was visualizing. I doodle, and doodling, it's very—
Being as visual as you are, doodling makes sense for you.
Yeah. Yep. So my entire life I doodled more than I did schoolwork and college. But the point is,
look at where that got you, huh?
Yeah. The thing is that the doodling is not. It can be even something about numbers, right? Where you want to be. It can be, you know, it could be a trip. It could be anything, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not distraction. It's very purposeful. But that is also relaxing, and it puts fun into something that is, you know, it's a habit. You have to stick with it, and then we all fall off the wagon. So that's important to me. That's what I do.
Heck, I fall off my chair sometimes. I'm a total klutz. But yeah, one thing that I remember back, because I think I talked about when I was in chemo earlier, it's some hospital rooms are like a little hotel. You know, they got the little notepad next to you, like a little pen. I don't know what the heck you're supposed to do with that, you know. But I remember one day I was so ticked off, and I was all by myself, and I was gritting my teeth, and I just wanted to get out of my system how mad I was. And there was nobody around to vent to, so what the heck am I going to do? I saw the piece of paper and pen, I grabbed it, and I filled a couple pages with the F word over and over and over. Not, you know, one big on the page, but little bit. So sometimes journaling, I think, could serve the purpose of just clearing the space. If there's something that's clogging up your attention, just get it out. You know, don't look for spelling or for it to be profound or punctuation.
Right.
Just dump it out. And once your brain is a little bit more settled, then maybe you can get down to the business of journaling your goals and your intentions for the day. You know, that's just, if I do journal, I do it digitally just because my hands are so bad these days from all my different ailments. And that works for me. One of my boys talks about all the time. He says, I just need paper. I just need to write it down. And he's got an engineering mind. He likes to build things. And he's a gifted artist. He loves to paint and draw. So it makes sense that his hand would be kind of a means to an end to him feeling focused and clear. But you mentioned it, a couple times, Jane, how important it is to just really find those boundaries of what's going to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned to you, when I'm done with my journals, like I'll keep them stacked up and I look back at them to see how, what I'm doing. But I do actually, it's quite I live in the country, so it's possible. Once I'm done with them at the year end, I have a bonfire, I burn them. And so some people shred them. I know this, it seems because that was then, this is now. This is like, and also I know that I've done great things. I can release them and I'm moving forward. It's a new year or a new month, whatever it is, I get rid of it because I already know I've done the work of what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's actually quite a lot of fun. See, this is supposed to be fun, right?
There's a powerful metaphor in there. And Andy, you might be familiar with it too, but I've heard this throughout the years. There's a story about a military commander where they invade on the beach and then the commander says, okay, burn the boats.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck are you talking about? They say, okay, because there's only two ways you're leaving here. You're leaving here on your back because you've been killed, or you're leaving here because you conquered them and seized all of their stuff, and we're going to be going home on their boats. So when you burn the boats, it gives you no option of retreat. It also, in your case, Jane, makes it much more difficult to look back.
Yeah. For me, yes.
And live in the past, yeah.
Yeah, for me it works. It's fun.
So,
for you, it works.
The journal,
I don't really look back at my, I have a whole bunch of journals. And by the way, going back to what you said, you use the free-form open paper. I was going to say, for people that are like me, sometimes I look at that, I'm like, what do I write? So I use a pre-scripted journal, if you will, that has gratitude and then goals and plan your day. And that works well for me. But I like the free-form. I'm thinking I don't really look back at mine, but it might be nice to be able to look back at that to see where I've come from, and maybe for my kids to be able to look at that. Jane, do you have kids?
I do. I have a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
And he, I guess it's a different feeling for me. I'm done with it. And and some of my journaling is so messy because that's just who I am. It's a very private thing. It's nothing he wouldn't know, but for me, it's private. And yeah, I mean, it's to each his own. I know many people who keep them as well, and it's just got to be what works best for you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, oh man. So anything else we want to throw into this pot as far as the value of a morning routine?
Just start.
What are you gonna do with this?
What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to share it with the masses, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And I also, and I'll throw this in here too, Andy, you might have seen it. Yeah. Andy and I are in a community together. We have a coach that has group coaching calls. His name is Vincent Puglisi. He's awesome. And it occurred to me that I could get a lot of awesome conversations if I had conversations with the people from this group, because it's called Total Life Freedom.
Right.
Because we all play at a higher level, just like you do, Jane. We're at a different level of mindset. We are more resourceful. We have more solutions. And what if I just leverage the synergy? When I come together to talk to these people, I mean, what came from the three of us talking today? I couldn't have anticipated that. But bringing us together to have that conversation, to just really draw out all of this wisdom that could help people and then put it out there so people can absorb it, learn about these great resources, these awesome people like yourselves, and what's available for them to help solve their problems. And I get to have some fun in the process.
Yeah.
You know what I would tell people is that when you're starting out, the world of Google is a great place for resources that don't cost anything. So by that I mean there are templates that are free. If you need I don't need a structural journal, but if you're just starting, you can get step-by-step, templates that help you journal and get in the rhythm. They're really great. I mean, some of them are just amazing graphics or plain, but that's a resource. Like I did use that at the very beginning, and so it is possible. Do not use anything as an excuse. It's paper, pen, a laptop, Google, do it, and stick with it the 30 days, right? Break the old habits. It takes 30, 35 days. It sounds pretty straightforward, but it's hard to do. So, and if you fall off the wagon, keep going. There's always a new day. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
You always stumble, you fall, you scratch your knees, but you get back up and you keep moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about the mistakes or the failures. Just get back up and do it again and keep that habit going. I would add, if I'm going to add one more thing about establishing your morning routine, whether it's focusing on meditation or journaling or doing all the things that I'm doing in the Miracle Morning, is to make sure you're being intentional about your morning. Most people, I think, get up and start checking email and social media, and they get sucked into stuff, and then they got to go to work or whatever it is. So I try to avoid those things. I text with a few friends. I've got some accountability partners that like to check in the morning, but otherwise I don't check my email or social media for the most part until after I'm done with all of those things, because I don't want to get sucked in.
Man, I gotta work on that.
Yeah, it's important because there's just so many distractions, right? And then you always see stuff. You're like, oh, I got to respond to this. Let me do it now, even though you don't know. You don't need to, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a great idea. I think tomorrow, Randy, when I get up, I'm going to do my exercising and my meditation and all that stuff before I check my phone. And that is going to be really difficult for me.
It's going to be hard. That would be hard for anybody.
Because it's a shift. It's a shift away from my habit. Now, one thing I want to piggyback on what Jen was saying about going to Google, and what you mentioned about the Miracle Morning, Andy, is that there are these categories like gratitude to help you kind of hone in your thinking. There's also something called sentence starters or sentence stems, where it gives you maybe the first part of the sentence and you need to finish it. And for that, people can really benefit from those to jumpstart their thinking. So you can even look for journaling, sentence starters or whatever, and I bet you'll find a potpourri for them.
Yeah.
So, Andy, how close are you to need to bounce here?
I got a couple minutes.
Okay. So I just want to kind of encapsulate what it is I've heard so far from the three of us is, from a basic standpoint, morning routines are helpful. They create structure, they create consistency, but also in our case, they create intentionality. We're not just getting up and jumping on the hamster wheel and chasing the latest shiny object. We are crafting our day. These are our goals. This is where we want to focus. These are our lives. This is what we want to create. And that is something that is largely missing in people's lives. And it's that hamster wheel that's keeping them stuck, and they wonder why they aren't where they want to be or why their life isn't better. And chances are it's because all your time is spent chasing down somebody else's dream.
Yep.
Your boss is telling you what to do, or somebody else is leading the way. And that's the problem, is you're not creating your own life, somebody else's.
Yep.
So starting some kind of an intentional, reflective, creative morning routine can go a long way to shifting the trajectory of your life. Agreed?
100%.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yep.
So thank you both so much for making time. This was a very spontaneous conversation, and I'm glad we were able to pull it all together. Safe travels to you, Mr. Storch.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you both. Nice meeting you, Jane.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Have a good travel time.
All right. Take care of you too.
Bye.